birthday party.
Party, yes.
And for a special treat, Ciara and I are going to tell you guys a story.
That's not a treat for you.
It's not a treat? All right, one treat for me.
Well, you can get a treat.
Yeah. So all you got to do is, you can even close your eyes if you want. You just have to listen. This story is called The Big Brag.
Oh, I know this one. I know this one. It's in our class.
That's okay.
Our class.
I don't think that's
My sister told me that.
All right, here we go. You ready?
You're the rabbit wedding,
All right.
so you're starting the story.
Okay, I'll start. The rabbit felt mighty important that day. On top of the hill in the sun where he lay, he felt so important up there on that hill that he started in bragging, as animals will. And he boasted out loud as he threw out his chest. Of all the beasts in the world, I'm the best. On land and on sea, even up in the sky, no animal lives that is better than I.
What's that? Growled a voice that was terribly gruff. What? Now, why do you say such ridiculous stuff?
The rabbit looked down and he saw a big bear.
I'm the best of all beasts, said the bear, and so there.
You're not, snapped the rabbit. I'm better than you.
Pooh, said the bear. Again I say You talk mighty big, Mr. Rabbit, that's true, but how can you prove it? Just what can you do?
Thought the rabbit, what can I do? He thought and he thought and he finally said, Mr. Bear, do you see these two ears on my head? My ears are so keen and so sharp and so fine, no ears in the world can hear further than mine.
The bear grunted. He looked at each ear. Looked at each ear.
You say it.
You say they are good, said the bear with a sneer. But how do I know just how far they can hear?
I'll prove, said the rabbit, my ears are the best. You sit there and watch me, I'll prove it by test. He stiffened both ears till they pointed straight up high at the blue of the sky. He stretched his ears open as wide as he could. Shh, I'm listening, he said as he stood. He listened so hard that he started to sweat, and the fur on his ears and his forehead got wet. For 7 whole minutes he stood, then he stirred, and he said to the bear, do you know what I heard? Do you see that faraway mountain? It's 90 miles off. There's a fly on that mountain. I just heard him cough. Now, the cough of a fly, sir, is quite hard to hear when it's 90 miles off, but I heard it quite clear. So you see, bragged the rabbit, it's perfectly true. My ears are the best, so I'm better than you. The bear, for a moment, just sulked.
As he sat, for he knew his ears couldn't hear things like that. This rabbit, he thought, made a fool out of me. Now I've got to prove that I'm better than he. You hear pretty well. You hear 90 miles, but how far can you smell? I'm the greatest of smellers, he bragged. See my nose? This nose on my face is the finest that grows. With my nose, I can smell anything, both far and near. With my nose, I can smell twice as far as you hear.
You can't, snapped the rabbit.
I can't, growled the bear, and he stuck his big nose way up high in the air. He wiggled that nose, and he sniffed and he snuffed. He waggled that nose, and he whiffed and he whuffed. For more than 10 minutes, he snapped and he snuffed. And then he said to the rabbit, I've smelled far enough.
All right, said the rabbit. Come on now and tell me exactly how far is the smell that you smell?
Oh, I'm smelling a very far smell, said the bear. I'm smelling way past that fly on that mountain out there, way past many great mountains beyond, 600 miles more to the edge of a pond. And way out there by that pond, you can't see, there's a very small farm. On that farm is a tree. On that tree is a branch. On that branch is a nest, a very small nest, where 2 tiny eggs rest. 2 hummingbird eggs, only half an inch long. But my nose is so wonderfully strong that my nose smelled without fail that the egg on the left is a little bit stale. So, that's something no rabbit can do. So you see, the bear boasted, I'm better than you. My nose is so keen that it just can't be beat. What's that? Said a voice way down by their feet. The bear and the rabbit looked down at the sound, and they saw an old worm popping out of the ground. Well, boys, said the worm, you've been bragging a lot. You both think you're great, but I think you're not. You're not half as good as a fellow like me, said the worm. You hear and you smell, but how far can you see? Now I'm here to prove to you big boasting guys that your ears and your nose aren't as good as my eyes. And the little worm cocked his head to one side, and he opened his eyes. He opened them wide. He stared far away with a strange sort of stare, as if he were burning 2 holes in the air. The eyes of that worm almost popped from his head. He stared half an hour till his eyelids got red. That's enough, growled the bear. Tell the rabbit and me, just how far did you look, and just what did you see? Well, boys, the worm answered, this look that I took was a look that looked farther than you'll ever look. I looked across the ocean, way out to Japan, for I can see farther than anyone can. There's no one on earth that has eyesight that's finer. I looked past Japan. I looked across China. I looked across Egypt, the 2 quick lands across the 2 countries of Holland and France. I looked across Egypt and also Brazil, but I didn't stop there. I looked much farther still. I kept right on looking until I looked round the world and right back to this hill. And on this hill, I saw, since my eyesight is so keen, the 2 biggest fools that have ever been seen. And the fools that I saw were none other than you, who seemed to have nothing else better to do than sit around and argue who's better than who. Then a little old worm cocked his head to one side. And the little old worm gave his head a small jerk and dived in his hole and went back to his work.
The end.
The end.